Good evening, and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, chapter 29 of the Living Marriage. Binyan Abayas' book. We're starting lesson 9. It's really section 2 over here. It's called the Wife's Rishus. It's called. The first section was introduction. This is number 1, the Wife's Rishus. We came back in the last chapter to intimacy, to the bedroom, and now he talked in the introduction about just a general in mitzvahs in the Torah. You have your obligations, you have things which, right, that are forbidden. You have things which you have to do, positive commandments. You have things which are rishus. A lot of Judaism is up to our decision making, whether we feel it's the right thing that Hashem wants us to do or not the right thing that Hashem doesn't want us to do. We have to make decisions all the time, and there's no more difficult time to make decisions than in the bedroom. So he's first going to talk about the wife's rishus, which is really the obligations. Even though he calls it the wife's rishus, it's really the obligations that you have towards the wife. And anytime there's no obligation, then there's a decision you can make. You can decide whether, based on other factors, whether you want to be part of it, whether you want to be together, or you want to do something in the bedroom to bring your closest your wife together. So this is about the wife's rishus. And this is kind of technical. He brings from a couple of Gemaras over here. A Gemara in Psachim over here. The Gemara says, "Chayav adam l'samech isishto b'dvar mitzvah." A person, I'm taking this part out of context because he doesn't quote the Gemara here. I didn't look up the Gemara. So you have to, make your wife happy b'dvar mitzvah. And the Gemara Rashi says, "Afilu shelo b'shas onasa imro Hashem eslo." If he sees that his wife is she desires to be together with her husband, so the husband has the obligation to be together with her, even if it's not b'shas ona, right? We learn in Mesachas Ksuvos that a man generally, depending on his profession, has a certain amount of times a week he's supposed to be together with his wife. Most people, if you're considered a Talmud Chacham, which most Avreichim would be in the category of, so technically you only do it once a week, and preferably on Lil Shabbos, Lil Erev Shabbos, the Gemara says. But the Mishnah Berurah says that really, people in Yeshiva Shmuel should be doing it twice a week. If you're a person, that doesn't have any job, you're a rich guy, so you should be doing it every day, basically. But that's the chiyuv for the man to do it, without any external factors going on. But if there's certain circumstances, for example, he brings over here that there's clear hints, right? The wife hints that she wants to be together with her husband. She's not supposed to explicitly say to her husband, "I want to be together with you," because that's not proper femininity. A woman's not supposed to say things like that. But he points out that she should make her hints very clear, because sometimes he quotes a story over here. A couple once came into my office, and the wife accused her husband of being an arrogant egomaniac who simply wasn't capable of considering the needs of others. So when I asked her for an example of this, she said that she often hints that she wants to spend time with him, and he simply ignores her. The husband, completely confused, apologized, explaining that he didn't remember one time where she expressed such a request. It soon became clear the wife thought that if explicitly asking for intimacy leads to quote-unquote children's rebellion, the Gemara in Nedarim says, a clear hint would also lead to such offspring. So she gave hints that required prophetic powers to understand. Since her husband had not yet reached the level of a prophet, he had no way of knowing her intentions. So, if she wants to be together, she should make it clear, like he quotes from Leah in the Torah in Bereshis, where Leah came out to Yaakov, or she rented out Yaakov for the night from the flowers, and she came to Yaakov and she said, "Elai tavo ki sakar takarti v'dudai b'ni v'yishka b'ma b'layla hu." Yaakov slept with her. He said she came out. She said, "Come to my tent." Come into my tent. Yaakov usually slept with Rachel, so come to my tent. Obviously, it wasn't explicit. She didn't say sleep with me, but she come to my tent. So that's pretty clear hint that she meant to be together. So a woman could go, and she should go to those lengths to express that to her husband. I do agree with this. It's not. Most men are not in tune exactly with what their wife wants. Most men aren't, on those levels. Even the best husbands often miss hints from their wives, because women It's embarrassing for a woman to demand it. Even make a clear hint is hard for the woman. And oftentimes husbands miss it. So he tells the woman to make clearer hints. It's hard for a woman. Um, but it's true. If they really want it, they should make clearer hints. Then he talks about reading between the lines. Um, He says, in addition to fulfilling the wife's desires when she makes them known, the husband is responsible for engaging in intimacy when it's obvious that it is desired. So besides when she makes hints, if there's an obvious, the husband's not obligated to be a prophet. And that's true. But there's certain times, even if she doesn't give you a hint, drop a hint, Chazal said those are times when women generally want to be together with their husbands. For example, when the man is leaving on a trip, he's going on a trip overseas, let's say, for a couple of weeks away. So the Gemara in Yevamos says, the Gemara quotes. The Gemara says, "Chayev Adam lifkodes ishto b'shashu yotze l'derech shemar idata k'shalom alecha." Before he goes away on a trip, he has to be together with his wife. And the Gemara says, because part of the pasuk says, "Elishech chukosech," right? A woman's desire is to her husband. Even though, right, it's not clear to men that it's true, but the Gemara reveals to you that when a woman feels her husband's going to be away for a long time, so she wants to be together with him in order for him to remember her before, they go away, before he goes away. So, I mean, everyone knows. I mean, besides Ona, right, twice a week, it doesn't have to be a specific night. There's also the night of the mikvah. That's also a chiyuv. Other places in the Gemara says he's supposed to be together on that night, because again, that's after a long period. I think there's no real source the night of the mikvah you have to be together. It's just we assume they waited so long. She's a nida, and according to our chumras nowadays, she's counting another 7 days of tara for libun. You may libun, so it's going to be almost 2 weeks. So the woman generally wants to be with the husband. Hopefully, the husband should want to be with the wife also. At that point, my wife just told me a very sad story. A woman who's divorced now. She married her husband. This is what I said. Women talk about these things. Men would never even mention something close to this. She wasn't even close to this woman. The woman told her she's divorced now. She said, I don't know how it came up, but she said when I got married, it was a chuvas nida, meaning basically she was nida, and they couldn't be together. She had to wait until she became clean and before they could be together. There's certain halachas that apply in that situation. It's a very difficult circumstance to be in. And she just mentioned casually to my wife that she said, yeah, my husband couldn't care less. It didn't bother him. It didn't bother him that it was a chuppahs nida and they couldn't be together on the night of the wedding. And I said, wow, that's a big problem with the husband. That's a big red flag over there. Not surprising that the marriage ended in a divorce. I would hope a man would have a desire to be with his wife on the night of the wedding. I mean, that's why men get married, right? Especially in the frum Jewish world, where you can't be together with a woman unless you're married. So this is why you get married. That's the main reason why people get married. The Gemara says in Maseches Ketubos, right? That's why a kala gets married. It's also why a chassan should be getting married. They want to be together. That's the whole point of marriage, as we mentioned many times in this book. So it's a big red flag if the husband doesn't care about not being able to be together. So also, the night of the mikvah, of course the woman desires it more than anything. You should know that a woman desires being together with her husband much more than the husband does. Even though people think that men are, completely, attached to being together with women. Women want it more than the husband. They just don't verbalize it, as much to men. So people don't know about it, but women want it much more than the men. Technically, a woman would want to be almost all the time together, at least spending time with her husband, cuddling with her husband, not necessarily being together, but hugging and kissing, those things I wouldn't want all the time. It's not possible. I'm going to discuss this. It's not possible for a man. It's not good for the man to do this all the time. He doesn't want to do it. You shouldn't be doing things exclusively. You're not a servant to your wife. You should never be a servant to your wife. You want to be a good husband and take care of the basic desires of your wife to make sure she's happy. But you should never be a slave to your wife. You should be the man, and she's not going to respect you unless you're the man. So there's certain circumstances, for example, when you go away the night of the mikvah, he actually brings a very interesting point over here. He brings a Chachmas Adam, which was an Achron from a couple hundred years ago. He was like before the Mishnah Berurah. He told you basically, a summary of the laws. It was like a Kitzur Shulchan Aruch almost. Um, I think Kitzur Shulchan Aruch is only on. Maybe no, Kitzur Shulchan Aruch is on everything. But Chachmos Adam, the Chai Adam, Chachmos Adam, same person. He wrote like short halachas that you can remember. So when he talked about the mitzvah ona, be'ekar ona ksharosh isha mishadelas utov dvarim. His wife is she's putting on perfume or something like that, or he miskashetet l'fanav, she's putting on perfume, makeup, jewelry, or she's talking in a certain way that she sounds like she wants to be that. She wrote to b'tashma, and he understands. Obviously, if he doesn't understand, you're not a prophet, you're not expected. As who chayav l'kayim, he understands that she wants to be there. He's obligated to be together with her. Now I'm going to discuss exactly what I think, whether actually I think you're obligated to be together with her. According to Allah, technically, right? If you know with a certain amount of certainty that your wife wants to be together, you're technically obligated, just like the mitzvah of the owner, you're obligated to be with your wife a certain amount of times a week. You're obligated to be with your wife, even though you're not in the mood. Even if you're sick, you're an onus. If you're not feeling well, you're an onus. But if you don't want to, you have to be together with your wife. I'll discuss that in a second. But he brings in the old editions, they had a typo, and it said, instead of mitkashetet, which means that she's beautifying herself, she's putting on makeup, she's putting on perfume, shemitkatetet, she's quarreling with you. And he says something which is really true. He says, well, this was obviously an unintentional mistake. It is true in many cases. Couples often have little fights for no apparent reason. The natural reaction is to begin searching for the source of the problem, which often causes the most insignificant issues to be associated with their lack of shalom bayis. In truth, one of the most common sources of quarreling is the wife feeling that her intimacy with her husband is lacking. One of the clearest hints that she is not getting what she needs is when she seems to be arguing over the smallest things for no apparent reason. This is 100% true, I believe. When the woman's acting, everyone says, I got married, I heard from, I was my Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Yaakov Friedman, he said that when you marry a woman, you're marrying 5 different wives, right? You're marrying 5 different women because they get moods, they get moody. She can appear like one person one day, appear like another person another day. One day she's calm, one day she's agitated, one day she's loud, one day she's quiet. You're marrying, and it depends. You have to read your wife like a sugya. He said, this is what he said. You got to read your wife like a sugya. But soon after I got married, I realized it's not exactly true that. Really, she's really one person just like you. If she's acting like 5 different people, that means that she's obviously very agitated about something. Something's bothering her. And, he gave the example, you come home on Friday from yeshiva. You come home at 1 o'clock, and Shabbos at 4 o'clock because you learned the whole morning. And she's busy cooking, cleaning, and taking care of the kids. It's obviously not the way to run your household on a Friday. But, she comes home, obviously she's agitated because she's not getting any help. And you come for your learning because you got all the schar for all, you're helping her get schar and all the mahava. But she's, doing the dirty work in the house, literally the dirty work. And she's making a beautiful Shabbos meal for you. Oftentimes you're going to sit there at the table with your guests and she's going to serve you like a servant. Not every house is like this, but sometimes you come home and she's yelling at you and you say, okay, I'll pick up a broom, I'll start sweeping. And she's like, no, it's not helping. And you're trying to figure out what's the problem. And the problem is she just wanted you to validate her feelings. She feels very stressed out. She wanted to validate. It must be very hard for you. And then you learn. So the next week you come home at 1 o'clock, and Shabbos is at 4 o'clock in the winter. And she's going crazy. And she's yelling at you when you come in. The kids, the food, nothing's coming out right. The food is burnt, and the kids they make such a big mess, and this kid, is sick or whatever. And, you come back and you're like, okay, I learned from last week, right? I'm going to validate her. Listen, it must be honey, it's very difficult what you're going through. She says, no, I want you to pick up a broom and start sweeping. Help me out, right? So she changed from 1 week to the next week. The answer is, if she's changing, women get very emotional. They have hormones, especially when they go through, they have a period. They go through hormones. If they're taking, a lot of women are on birth control sometimes, so they have hormones through that. Hormones are thrown off because of that. Most of the time, the woman's personality changes, even though they have hormones and they're very much more emotional than men. It's because something's bothering them, and usually it's bothering them because they're not getting what they need in the bedroom. Now, even being together with your wife, you can mekayim all these halachas that we learned about now. You're doing the mitzvah of ona twice a week. You are, the night of the mikveh, you're together with your wife. When you go on a journey, before a journey, you're together with your wife. If you see she's clearly hinting she wants to be together, you're together with her. She can still be very agitated, and that's because what I'm going to discuss today, I believe, is the big idea that I wanted to bring out today is that there's part of the relationship in the bedroom, a major part of the relationship in the bedroom is causing your wife joy, making her happy, making it a fun, enjoyable, happy experience, like simchas. The Gemara in Psachim, as Yeshua Mitzvah, the first year of a marriage, right? The Sima Chazisha, you're supposed to make your wife happy, right? Just being together for a man, like we discussed many times, if you talk to a man and a woman, they have very different conceptions of how you fulfill your desires in the bedroom. For a man, technically, it can be over in 5 minutes. For a woman, they need, a whole preparation. We talked about tias, foreplay before, and also I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I may have mentioned it in the beginning of the book about an orgasm for a woman, which is essential. I've seen many different svarim, right, that maybe suggest that it's even usher to do an orgasm for a wife. It's considered to be taivadik or something like that. You have to worry about the taivas of your wife. And they answer it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't do this. There's probably a lot of people don't do this. And probably a lot of people who don't care about their wives in the secular world or the modern world. They don't do this either for their wives. And that's a really important part of making your wife happy, or having an orgasm and foreplay. Those are the main parts for the woman. Being together is also very nice for her. But if you're just approaching it from a male perspective, you're just going to want to, get right to it and be over in 5 minutes. And the woman will be devastated, right? Even if you're together with her all these times, she'll be devastated because you have the obligation to make your wife happy. And that's the overarching theme when it comes to a man responsibility as a husband to his wife. It's in the bedroom. And in the bedroom, it's to make her happy. And it's not about being together or the amount of time you're together. It's about causing a joyous atmosphere in the bedroom. And some people have a problem with this because they're too serious, right? If you're a serious person, even though maybe you do foreplay beforehand, or maybe even if you're somehow able to last long enough to do an orgasm on a regular basis for your wife, but if you're a very serious person and you're not joking around, you're not a fun person, if it's very serious and your wife is afraid of you, right, she's never going to be truly happy. She might feel compelled to do your will. If you make her fearful, she'll feel like she'll want to get you angry, but she's not going to be happy. And that is ultimately the basis of the husband's obligation. The overarching one word is to make her happy, right? The mitzvah, specifically on the first year of the marriage, where you're meeting each other basically in a more personal way. You got to make her happy. So, and the rest of your life, you have to make her happy, at least in the bedroom, because that's the main part of the marriage. So, so that's what I would say is something, I mean, I'm not going to get technical and give a halacha shir over here, I'll throw it out there. Ona really is nothing to do with the woman. It's basically the rights of a man, Ona. That's why it depends on the profession of the man, how much strength the man has. Ona is the rights that a man has to not engage in causing his wife to have a joyful experience, to do what he wants, right? Ona is lashon of ona, pain. Ona, right? On Yom Kippur, he has a right. A man has a right because that's what a man wants. A man has a right twice a week, in general, to be together with his wife for 5 minutes, and it's over. No foreplay, no orgasm afterwards, or orgasm before. He doesn't have to do it. He has the right to that. But he also has to take into account the rights of his wife. And the rights of his wife, right, is there's no strict rules for that. There's no rules for that. And like he says, a great simon, a great sign of figuring out if your wife is getting what she needs in the bedroom is if you're fighting or not. Usually fights stem from the woman getting angry at the husband. She makes a snide remark at the husband, or she seems perturbed, or she seems moody, right? If she seems moody or perturbed, or she's not, you're not spending enough time with her. And it could also be outside the bedroom, to play a game with her, to do something and act, go on a walk with her, go to restaurants with her, go to hotels with her. These things, to spend time together. For a woman, even spending time together, even you're not in the bedroom, Even when a woman's in nida, it's important to spend time together. Spending time together means so much to a woman, even if it's only once a week. To spend, you don't have to go out to a restaurant, but to spend time, quality time with her, to sit down, and watch some program that's a kosher program, or listen to music together, or play a game, or something like that. That's so important to a woman, and that is the obligation of the husband to make his wife happy. Um, which really, it's the responsibility of the husband, where we know the source for this. Shuva lachem la'olechem. There's different sources in Chazal, but the Gemara in Pesachim and the Gemara in Yevamos reveal that the man has to make sure that his wife is happy and is satisfied. Of course, he has the right of ona for twice a week or whenever he's capable of doing that. But depending on the amount of strength he has, which depends on his profession, how hard he's working and what he's doing. But the overarching theme of marriage is to make sure your wife is happy, and definitely it can be done, aided and abetted outside the bedroom, and certainly in the bedroom you have to make sure that your wife is happy. And it's very important not to be such a serious person. If you're a serious person, it's going to carry over to the bedroom, and she's not going to enjoy it. No one's going to enjoy being together, doing something which seems like very base and something animalistic. If you're serious and you're religious about it, if you're too religious in the bedroom, or you're too serious, some professors, even secular professors, they think too much. When you think too much, you're not engaged in, having fun. Having fun, not everyone's capable of having fun, but if you're a fun person, you're capable of having fun. So that's really, there's really, the chova is really rishus, right? It's really, you're obligated, but there's no set rules for making your wife happy. You, as a husband, being a good husband, is figuring out your wife. And like he said, the way of assessing whether you're doing a good job is how often you get in fights. If you're getting in fights a lot with your wife, right? If you're quarreling a lot with your wife, you're doing something wrong in the bedroom. You're doing something wrong in the bedroom. If you're doing things right as a husband, that shows by the amount of fights that you're not going to have. And but there's different types of fights. Fighting where you're fighting ideological battles or something like that. That's different. I'm talking about fighting where it's like moods, where a woman's getting moody and she's complaining about her moods and the hormones and stuff like that. What she's really saying is that she's not happy, and principally because of the intimacy. Because, like I said, a woman wants the bedroom and wants the closeness to her husband, physicality, much more than the husband does. Much more than the husband even knows or thinks he knows. Women need this so much. It's basically, that's what he says here. He ends off the chapter over here by comparing. It brings a Maharal. This is not from a Gemara. The Maharal lived in the 1500s in Prague. Was considered one of the biggest Rabbanim ever. He compares man and woman to a Chomer and Surah relationship. I don't want to get into this like Kabbalah over here. A Chomer basically is like a raw material. Surah is when you fashion into something which is valuable, like a piece of wood is the raw material. When you make it into a wooden table, that's considered Surah. He says also a diamond, right? A diamond in the rough, or a rough diamond. You have to, unless you cut it properly, it's not going to be worth anything. So he says that's really the relationship between man and woman, that a woman is considered chomer, she's considered raw material, and the man, when they're together, when she has a desire for her husband, that helps the woman create a surah, or join together, because the man is the surah, the man is the form, because men are complete. Man is like the table, the woman is like the wood, and when the woman has a desire for her husband, then she becomes part of the table also. That's basically what he says over here. I disagree wholly. I think back to Seinfeld. In Seinfeld, there's a discussion between Jerry and Elaine, and it's true, And I think Jerry says this. He says, a man, he's like a machine, He's built like a machine. There's no beauty in the machine, right? It's not a beautiful thing. Even the best looking robots, they don't look better than people. A woman, right? She's a beautiful creature. Her body is meant for beauty, right? The Gemara says, "Ein isha ela yofi," right? The way her body is formed, it's meant to look in a beautiful way. Her breasts, the fact that her hips, the way her body is built, long hair, her face, it's meant to be attractive to a man. A man could be attractive. Much more women are attractive to men than men are attractive to women. I say only 10% of men are attractive, 50% of women are attractive because the difference between a man and a woman, if a woman is cute, right, she's also attractive. If a man is cute, he's not attractive. A man has to be strong, right? So strong is having symmetrical dimensions, especially in your face and your body also. Symmetry is what makes you strong. A woman who has symmetry, she's very beautiful. But even if she doesn't have perfect symmetry, she's cute, right? That's also attractive to a man because a woman is more beautiful. She has a surah. She has, right, a form. She has, right, if you talk about form, a bodily form of a person, right, who has a more beautiful body. Even like Seinfeld said, women are meant for beauty. They're more beautiful. Men, they're just like machines. So they're not beautiful. So if you tell who's more like the chomer, the raw materials, a man's more like the raw materials. It compares to a diamond also, right? When you get engaged to a woman, you give her a diamond ring because that's really what the man is doing. And being a good husband is like doing this. You're taking a raw material, a man, and you have to sort of blend with your wife, who's beauty, and sort of uh, put yourself in a crucible over there. But a lot of pressure. Diamonds are formed in a lot of pressure, especially cutting them. It requires, right, a lot of precision and a lot of force to you know to rework yourself and to make yourself in consonance with your wife and to know when she wants something, when she wants to be together, when she wants a hug, when she wants a kiss, when she wants a chocolate, when she wants a flower, when she wants a kind word, when she wants a compliment. To know all these things and to know how to create an atmosphere of fun and joy in the bedroom and know, in more detail what she likes in the bedroom. We'll talk more about that going forward. But it's really hard to be a good husband. And it's like being a diamond because diamond is the strongest, rock there is, it's unbreakable, a diamond basically. It's a 10 on the Mohs scale. So Mohs, I forget how I pronounce it, but it's unbreakable. It's the strongest rock there is because the best man is the strongest man, right? It doesn't mean a strong man with a six pack. Six pack is, even though Andrew Tate will tell you need a six pack, a strong body, a strong mind. No, a strong man is one that has a strong mind. A strong mind is a strong mind. Not a strong body is a strong mind. A strong mind is a strong mind. A man who's decisive, able to make decisions, that's a strong man. Six pack, actually, women prefer a man with a dad's belly, a six pack of beer. That's what it's referring to. To have the beer belly, not too big, but a little big. Women like that more in the bedroom. A man who's a little bit overweight than a man who's chiseled with a six pack. You can ask. I guarantee you can take a poll among women, and a woman will answer this question legitimately. They will say they prefer the dad's body over the six pack, chiseled, muscular body. It's not attractive. It's just not attractive to women. And definitely not in the bedroom. They don't appreciate it. They appreciate a man who's a little heavier, believe it or not. Women actually like a man who's a little heavier than skinny. Even though most women will tell you before they get married that they want a man who's tall and skinny. After they get married, they'll tell you in the bedroom they prefer a man who's a little heavier. You see it, a lot of gorgeous women marry really fat men because they're attracted. They like fat men because they like the man being strong on top of them, taking over them. And so that's really what it is. The man is the chomer. The man is the diamond. He can make himself like a diamond, but it's hard work. It's really hard work. I indicated it's hard work to become a decisive man, to be a strong man, to become a confident man, to become a cool man. Those are hard things to do. But if you're able to do that, you're able to get access to the surah, to the beautiful woman, and have a great relationship together, where you form a great relationship together. And it really depends on how well your diamond fits around her finger. How well you're able to make her happy, be that strong man who's able to create a joyous atmosphere for her. It comes from a lot of different angles, outside the bedroom, inside the bedroom. But you have to, even though, like you said, men are not prophets, but the closer to a prophet you are, the better. And the best husbands are the best prophets, meaning they're closest to the prophet as possible, able to figure out exactly what their wife wants and wife needs. And usually, if they're great husbands, the women are not going to be so moody. They're not going to change. They're going to be the same person through and through. Hope you enjoyed today's lecture. See you in the next one.